We'll call the meeting to order. Mayor Parker is away on a much-needed and well-deserved vacation, so he's not with us, but we do have a quorum. Judy, can we have the Open Public Meetings Act statement?
Yes, sir. Adequate notice of this meeting of the Township Committee was sent to the Courier News in Somerville and to the Burnsville News in Whippany. Also to all subscribers and posted here at the Municipal Building as of January 8th, 2018.
Great, thank you. Please join. Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We have two sets of minutes to approve. The July 16, 2018 agenda meeting and the July 16th executive session. Has everyone had an opportunity to review the minutes? I'll make a motion to approve. So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Permit and raffles. We have 3 permits and raffles. First one is a social affair permit for New Jersey Bar Association, event held November 1, 2018, 6 o'clock p.m. to 8 o'clock p.m. at PPAC Gladstone Bank. Next is social fair permit for Villanova University, event held on September 27th, 2018 from 6:30 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. at PPAC Gladstone Bank. The third is raffle license application for Hugs for Brady Foundation. The raffle will be held on October 2nd, 2018 from 12 p.m. to 8 p.m. and that is an off-premise merchandise permit. Do we have a motion to approve?
So moved?
Second. Again, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Twice at every meeting, we open the mic up for public comments for anything that is not listed on the agenda. If something is listed on the agenda, you'll have the opportunity to discuss that when it is presented by the Township Committee. But if someone has something they want to talk about not on the agenda, this is your first bite at the apple. Come on up. Come on up to the mic. Your voice will be recorded.
Okay.
You won't be on video, but your voice will be recorded.
Actually, over at the podium.
At the lectern.
Okay.
And if you could just please give us your name and address.
All right, my name is Lisa M. Prosser. I live at 177 Cortlandt Lane in Bedminster. I've been here since 1998. And I was told by Sergeant Patterson there has been no police patrol for all of the hills for 8 whole years. He said there was a patrol officer assigned back then from 12 p.m. to 1 a.m. And this includes Schley Mountain and down below. I, two Decembers ago, filled out a police report because I had a package stolen with the hopes that there would be police patrol. Well, nothing was done. And I actually called the police department because there was a person that I was unsure was okay in her home. He went there and there was nothing he could do because she could be away. But that's when he told me, he says, there has not been police patrol that long. Now, I feel police patrol is very important because I have witnessed children destroying little fencing, and I actually saw a little boy destroy an aquarium that was at the dumpster, just demolishing it, and I feel if there was police patrol, that would be a deterrent for the children to know that they need to be good kids. And I feel strong about that. And the other thing is, I'm not sure if this is association or the township, but at the top of Windwood Road, a stop sign was taken out. And when you go up to there, on the left, when the cars say go up real fast up the hill, and it's all blocked by foliage from a tree. So one time I myself had an accident there. And ever since then, I make a left on Windwood and I go out at the next left turn, at the opening onto Robertson. Because it is extremely dangerous because you can't see the cars coming. It's all blocked by the trees. So to stop at the stop sign, you need to stop and then you got to inch ahead. And by the time you got a quick look and you got to go real quick because the car comes up so quick. It's very dangerous, and there's a stop sign now by some tennis courts. And I feel that one is really needed at Winwood and Robertson too. And about the police, just feel as if I was told by a neighbor who has lived there as long as me. There was once police patrol there before. He says they were very good because they would look around and they could see suspicious activity. In fact, the policeman asked him when he was uncovering his sports car, "Is that your car? Or what are you up to?" So I feel it is important to have coverage for this township. In the hills, the officer said back then there were 18 officers, but now there's only 16. So I guess, there's not a shortage, so it might be difficult. But still, I mean, I have been here for 20 years and I have seen the hills. No, it has not gotten better, it's gotten worse. So I would really hope that that could be something that could be discussed and voted on or thought about.
Well, Ms. Prosser, let's take your comments one at a time and direct them to the chief. Chief, the first comment about patrols in the hills, if you could just talk about what we're doing out there.
We are there. I think the situation here is 8 or 9 years ago, we had an officer assigned to the community police. It didn't give you 24 hours police patrol in the hills specifically, but that was an 11-hour shift, and that officer was dedicated to the hills development. That was a long time ago. We are in the hills actively patrolling. We're throughout the township patrolling with the resources that we do have. As for driving through the hills, sometimes you can see something or react and stop something just like any other street in the town. So it's a matter of the hills is so populated that, we're in the hills, we come for calls for service, there's a police car in the area, but my people will go there and generate extra patrols in the hills when they're not actively engaged somewhere else throughout the town. So the police mission is so enormous. There's 27 square miles that we're covering, there's 8,000 residents, and, we try to hit every portion of the town equally.
But Chief, if somebody notices something, they should call either your department right away or call our office right away. If there's something missing or you see something, call right away so that we know about it.
Yeah.
Right?
Like I said, I even feel that's important. That was 2 Christmases ago, and after I filled it out, I never saw any policeman drive by, or just didn't see it done. Because I live in Portland, and I don't know, I just don't see officers really. You know what I'm saying?
I understand.
Yeah, so.
We're doing the best we can. There's a lot of nooks and crannies, living in Cortland, that, everything isn't visible via patrol car, and it's a matter of parking the car, getting out, and checking every nook and cranny. The unfortunate thing with the package thieves are they follow the UPS man where they're waiting, and then the package is delivered, and then they just seamlessly take it and move on.
Well,
So
actually,
a home security camera at the front door
yeah,
can
actually,
combat
something like
that.
that too, yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah, but it's actually the postman at UPS told me you put it there. And one time, that's, somebody else was got it, that's a whole different story. This one was actually, I don't know who took it, so. That one time I did know somebody was delivered to the wrong person, and I did find it. The number was like, I'm 177 and she was 77, so, I solved that problem myself. I looked around, I knocked on the door, and lo and behold, she had it, but she just didn't want to return it. So.
Did you file a complaint on that?
No, I maybe could have, but I didn't, want to cause tension or anything. I could have probably, but I don't want to make any enemies,
Understood.
So.
And Ms. Prosser, to your second comment about the missing stop sign at the top of Winwood, John, who's responsible for the stop signs? Do that to be on the township list before the township exerts control over that, or is that something that
I'm not
that
sure
the
if that's
association?
I'm not sure if that's a private road or a public road.
It's association.
That would be, think of it would be, yes. So there is meetings, I guess, in New Brunswick with that, right? Because, my neighbor and me, we both live on a corner, and there were 2 times that we went to the clubhouse, and then we were told there were meetings, and nobody ever showed up. And we have talked to the person in charge of Cortland, we send emails, Adam and Tracy, you know, it's like they forgot about us or something. It's like I feel like, you know, we're just not even important. 'Cause
These are the scheduled meetings of the
Yeah,
association board?
Yeah. And now, like she says, there's gonna be, well, where is, what time and when? 2 times she told us, 2 times we were there, and then there wasn't nobody there. It's like, what gives? You know, I don't know what else to do, where to turn, because even she sends multiple emails, and I says, listen, a phone call gets more power, and I'll leave messages. But,
Mr., do you know with Wynwood, and maybe this is also throughout the
Wynwood's
hills?
Port Portland, right.
I'm sorry, for the stop signs, are those controlled by the condo association or by the master? Because maybe the next step is, if you can't get any relief through your association, maybe you go to the master next time they're
that's what I'm
scheduled.
thinking. I think they're in New Brunswick, the Taylor Management, yeah. Because, I mean, there's like 7 communities they take care of, and it's like they got their hands full, I suppose. They don't, you know, I don't know, they just... they
Yeah,
don't
I
have
would start with Pam
schedules.
Lawler over at Hills Village Master, and she can probably, Pam Lawler over at the main Master Association building right there next to the main pool on Hills Drive. The office there is the Master Association, and they sometimes can help you get a message where you need to get it.
If I may, I'm just confused about the stop sign. Is it coming out of development on Wynwood, or are you speaking
No,
about
it's
how
at the
you...
very top of Wynwood, and there's Robertson that goes to the right and the left.
So there used to be a 3-way stop.
There was, yes.
But that is no more, so that's why the stop sign is missing.
Yeah, I know
So it's
that.
not, okay, it's not a matter of that the sign is
Oh,
gone.
no, yeah, I know. I wonder why it was taken away, because I thought it was important.
So it's not missing.
It's not missing. The road was redesigned, but it's no longer a 3-way stop at that intersection. Robertson is a through street, and there's only a stop sign as you come to the T intersection.
Okay.
Oh, that's right at the, right by the pond?
Correct.
Right.
Okay,
There
oh,
used to
sure.
be on each end of Robertson before you made that.
Right, so at this point, was that done for safety issues, or just?
I don't know, that's the big...
Part of the, when we took over the road, we eliminated that.
And ma'am, are you saying that the reason why you will not take that route is because of the speed on Robertson?
Yeah.
See, this is a recurring thing that we're hearing from folks over there, that Robertson needs a little bit of attention. I think we gotta have somebody, we gotta find a spot for someone to go over there and sit for a period of time. This is not an isolated request. It seems like Robertson is a consistent problem with speeders. Chief, I think we should get somebody over there to sit for a period of time. You know, whether it's an hour during rush hour or what, but I know that was a consistent issue for Hills and Master North too, so. Well, you're not the first person that said that about Robertson and the speed.
I'm glad to hear that. I know, it's like I don't even go that way because it's unsafe. I detour my route, I go right through, I make a left at whatever that first right is after my Cortland. I don't know where that one is there, but I detour and then, because when I go higher up Robertson, you know, there's a big view, you can see the car.
Your sight line is a little bit better there.
Right. Yeah, so that's what I do because it's dangerous, so, you know.
Well, it's good that you came here and told us about it, so that it's the only way things can get fixed is if we know
Yeah,
about it.
I was told by Sergeant Patterson if I feel strong enough about it, I should come and speak up, so.
Well, we're glad you did.
And we're glad Sergeant Patterson told you that.
Yeah, me too, I am.
So Ms. Prosser, thank you for coming. As Judy mentioned, you may want to follow up directly with Pam on some of the issues within the association and management meetings and association meetings. And if there's any break of attendance, let Pam know, and hopefully she can get you some relief through that.
Yeah, that would be good, I should have it recorded the 2 times, it was 2 months in a row. They was like, oh, it's rescheduled for another time, she told us, then we went to the other time, nobody was there. So, I should have that documented, and I'll bring it to the meeting, like to the association, that,
Just stay on top of them.
HB, whatever.
Just stay on top of them.
Yeah, okay,
Okay, thank you.
Have a great night.
thanks.
Any other comments from the public? Seeing none, we will move to monthly report discussion by subcommittee chairs, and we will start to our right with Mr. Stevenson.
I have no updates from last week. My meetings, I don't believe are going to occur in July or August, so it might be some time before I have one. I did see some on JVH, some email communication about some grants, not the county grant, which is the big one, but some smaller grants. They're making their way through and positive feedback, but nothing formal quite yet. And it should be pretty close. I'd say within the next month, we'll hear from the county. So that'll be a big update.
Good. Colin?
Thank you, Mr. Jacobs. The only update I have is we did have a rec meeting a couple weeks ago, and Camp Bedminster is alive and well with lots of registrations and lots of activities, so that's a very positive thing for the town. And Robin has been keeping all the balls in the air, as she always does. And that's about it.
Stacy?
Thank you, Mr. Jacobs. I have not had any meetings or any updates other than Colin and I are working to update the personnel handbook so we can take a look at the personnel information. And Judy let us know our deadline, so we're going to make sure we meet that deadline, Judy.
And similarly, since the last meeting, my committees have not had meetings, but I do want to report just real briefly on the farmers market this weekend. So as you may remember, Saturday morning was a little tough. We had torrential rain, I would probably say from about 5:30 to about 6:30, and then after that, we just had steady rain. But no fear, Robin Ray and Kevin Murray were out there very early and helping the tents set up, the municipal tent as well as the tent for the performers that we had on Saturday. And we had a full complement of our vendors, and I do want to talk about the performers. So we had arranged, actually this was kudos once again to Robin, for these two guys. These two guys is a band, Greg Brown and Jason Rich, both Bedminster residents, and they performed, and they were there setting up around 9 o'clock when it was still raining, and by 10 o'clock, even with the drizzle out there, they were performing, and they went all the way through to 1 o'clock in the afternoon. And if you remember, once again, after we had the rain on Saturday morning, we then had heat and humidity. And Greg and Jason they stayed there and they performed the entire time. The vendors loved it. The folks from town who were there shopping thought it was great. I had some follow-up discussions with Jason and Greg, and they've agreed to be the Farmers Market House Band, and we look forward to seeing them again.
I have to ask, did the senior band show up?
No.
Okay, because they were going to come, but with the weather, they may have canceled. But that will be coming now at least once a month,
That's great.
once or twice a month.
That's great. Ms. Prosser, do you know about the Farmers Market?
Yes.
All right, well, we hope to see you there.
Yeah, thanks. You know, I thought of something else.
Come on up.
Sure. Listen, I have a dog, right? And this new dog park is phenomenal. It's so great. I know.
You can thank you, Mr. Stevenson.
It is so good.
We call that
Glad you
the
like
dog park.
Bridgewater.
Mr. Manns was instrumental in that as well.
Oh, it is phenomenal. It's so much better than Burt Mills, which is dirt, there's grass, there's trees, there's a bench. You know what, I was even thinking, you know what, people are complaining about the bugs. I said, maybe the township has enough money, why not put up some bug zappers? Because really, they're gnats and they bite and they're out because it gets humid, sure. But I mean, everybody goes there with their dogs. Everybody from all around. It's very popular.
It is.
Yeah.
And we're pleased with it.
Yeah.
I don't know that we're quite ready to electrify the fence to take care of the bugs.
I know, but that's the only thing that's bad about it, is that, the bugs, that's it. But otherwise, lots of property, the dogs can run, it's a major wonderful thing.
What kind of dog do you have?
I have she is actually a train hound from Hurricane Harvey.
Oh, really?
She always gets a laugh out of me whenever I walk her. Well, I'm teaching her not to, but she wants to climb the trees. Yeah, there's actually another guy who had the same kind of dog from out west. Train hound.
You adopted the dog from down south?
No, yeah, well, she came from Texas, but I got her from Morris Plains, because I look far and wide for a gentle, good dog. And she is. She doesn't have an ounce of aggression in her.
That's great.
Wonderful. I'm glad to hear you're using it.
Yeah, okay, well, I can't think of anything else, so I would like to just listen to the meeting.
Okay, great.
Just, all right,
We're glad to have you here.
thanks.
Well, so I think that's it for monthly reports. We'll turn to Judy for the administrator's report.
Pottersville Antique Show.
Oh,
You were there.
Pottersville Antique Show.
Yeah.
So,
Sorry to,
So
It was
Pottersville Antique
great.
Show,
it was great, lots of peaches.
Which did you
people,
go?
Lots of peaches, lots of antiques, and everybody does a great job. You always see the same people volunteering, and the kids are the best part because they come up to the table, my name is Jake, I'll be your waiter, and they just do a phenomenal job, and it's a very unique experience.
we had the same server this year that we had last year.
Just
And
They love
you
it.
know where I saw her Saturday morning?
the farmers.
At the farmer's market with her family. And she comes from Tewksbury. So it was good to see folks from Tewksbury. So it was a great event. We went,
Yeah.
that's, I guess, turkey night, and it was crowded. Steve was there with his family, and Sally Rubin was there, and Mike Rubin, and, just a great, once again, it's a great example of small-town Bedminster and the volunteerism that we have in town. So thank you for that
Yeah.
reminder.
So,
Judy, Ms. Sullivan.
Okay. So I was prompted by Mr. Hickey to give a little update on the tax rate. Our bills for the third quarter, they have been mailed out. They're due August 22nd. Our tax rate is $1.357, and that is equivalent to our tax rate was in 2013. So I think it's pretty good. Not only did our tax rate not increase, it actually went down. So it's now equivalent to what it was back in 2013. When people look at their tax bills, they may see that their tax amount went up, but that would be not due to the tax rate, but to the assessed value of their home. That, I would hope, increased somewhat over last year. The average home increased about $40,000 to $42,000, so that will impact your taxes as well, because your home is worth more. And I did provide in your books my report, which showed just a kind of a summary of the tax rates throughout Somerset County, where we compare. We are number 2 next to Far Hills. But I will tell you, we have one of the smallest municipal rates out of all the towns in Somerset County. So take a look at that chart. Also, data sources, there's a company called Home Snacks, and no, it's not a potato chip company. It is a company that puts together data that they glean from various sources like the census or FBI or certain maps, and they put together different lists to help people rank cities and neighborhoods and counties and compare them on various levels and various categories. And one of the ones that caught my eye was the top 15 safest towns in New Jersey. And they put together based on the crime reporting, the FBI crime reporting that all the police departments do throughout the state. And they did it for towns with a population of 5,000 or more. And with that list for 2018, Bedminster ranks number 8. So I contacted the chief to congratulate him and his department, and his response to me was, well, yeah, but we're number 3 in Somerset County, so that's not good enough, because there's 2 Somerset County towns that are ahead of us. So that just says the chief always wants to be number 1. So that list was also provided to you in my report, so.
Do you know if those numbers are skewed by 78, 27? Like, are the
I'm
incidents
sure
that
those
are out
are
on
part
the
of
road?
your report that you include, but the police wouldn't factor into Bedminster, would it?
Yeah, the state police would handle any UCR reporting on the interstates. We don't, patrol that or investigate anything out there.
So I don't know if they are including that.
Sounds like
in-
it's excluded, yeah.
Yeah.
I guess
don't
it
know.
depends if they're going by by the geographic location, or whether it's coming in from the locals
Right.
or the
That I don't know.
We're the state. But number 8 in the states is pretty
Thought
good.
that was
So
significant. Thought that was
thank
significant.
you,
Number 9.
Chief.
Yeah.
All right, is that it for the
That's all I have, other than the big thing that's voting online, which I didn't include in my report, but I don't know if you want to mention what,
Sure, we can talk about that now. The Courier News is doing their top town in Central Jersey, and Bedminster made it through the first top 2 of the county, and then we beat out Franklin Township to make it to the top 4 and compete with the top towns from the other
we're number 1 for
counties.
Somerset County.
We're number 1 from Somerset County on that poll, which puts us against Carteret coming from Middlesex Township, Bloomsbury coming from Hunterdon, and I forget who the Elizabeth for Union County. So I presume that there's still time to vote.
Yeah, I didn't see the date that it was closing.
So
I have it posted on a couple places on the website.
right on the website. So we certainly do encourage Bedminster folk and folk outside of Bedminster to vote for their top town in Central Jersey, and that's Bedminster, just in case anyone
We have that posted on the web?
needs a
Yeah, it's on
reminder.
the website and the Facebook page.
Okay, on to ordinances. Introduction of ordinances, we have none tonight. Public hearing of ordinances, yes, we do have one. We have ordinance number 2018-010, an ordinance to address the requirements of the Fair Housing Act and the Uniform Housing Affordability Controls regarding compliance with Bedminster Township's affordable housing obligations. This is the public hearing. This ordinance amends the township land use ordinance in compliance with the township's affordable housing obligation per requirements of the Fair Share Housing Act and the Uniform Housing Affordability Controls. So, Judy, do we need a motion to open
So we need a motion
the
to
public hearing?
open the public hearing, yes.
I'll make that motion.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
So, John, we're going to turn to you real quickly. If you can just give us a description of what is before us and the process by which we came to this point.
Yes, well, we did enter a settlement agreement with Fair Share Housing Center. I believe that was back on January 16th of this year, 2018. As part of that process, there was a fairness hearing before Judge Miller. My recollection was that was in March of 2018. Judge Miller entered an order approving the settlement agreement with Fair Share Housing Center, which led to a 120-day compliance period to implement some of the provisions in that particular settlement agreement. The Planning Board has implemented some of those and made recommendations with respect to the ordinance that is before you that was previously introduced. We have a compliance hearing before Judge Miller this Thursday morning, August 9th. Adoption of this ordinance is part and parcel of obtaining approval of our compliance efforts, and there are some very minor changes that were forwarded by Mr. Banish late this afternoon. I've had the opportunity to review those. They are not substantive, such that it would require a reintroduction of this ordinance. In fact, most of those changes that were derived in part from the Special Master Phil Caton and Fair Share Housing Center are simply tweaks that are, I would call more wordsmithing or boilerplate that have been required by Fair Share and other municipalities. So again, it would not preclude you from adopting the ordinance as amended pursuant to the changes from Mr. Banish that are in fact in front of you tonight.
Thank you, John, and also to confirm that the Land Use Board did review the affordable housing ordinance and determined that it was consistent with the master plan. And Judy, you have that
Yes, I have
report
that
from the
notification.
Land Use Board?
Yes, I do, as well as the fact that this was also, needs to be sent to neighboring towns and the Somerset County Planning Board, that's also been completed.
Okay. Does anyone have questions for John? Hearing none, we'll open it for the public. Does the public have any questions on this ordinance? You don't have to. If you do, then come on up. Now's your chance.
It's supposed to be listened. I've never been to one of these meetings. I understand that it's supposed to be 30 years since the condominiums were built, that the affordable housing is enforced. I have been told at Parkside they have been 30 years already, because my girlfriend, she decided to sign up with the association so they wouldn't get the taxes of the Bedminster, they still with the taxes with the housing. Because she just, she's like, they're only there a little while, she's not like an original owner or second owner or anything. But my question is about Cortland, and also there's Green Knoll, I think?
Village Green.
Village Green. When is the year that that comes into effect, that it's sellable at the appraised value?
The controls in Cortland are due to expire in July of 2020.
And that's for those units that are under the original controls that have not otherwise been extended.
That is correct.
Which is year 1998? What was the year that it began? Was it 1990? I believe that was when they were built.
They're 30-year restrictions. So the one at Parkside that were 1987 of August expired in August of 2017. Again, for those that were not extended by purchasers.
Well, I was told, I'm not sure if this is true, so I'm asking. I was told since I was in the house as the second owner in 1998, I'm grandfathered into the tax. So if I decide to stay, I don't get, higher taxes, I get what I've been paying all along. Because I've been there, I'm the second owner, and I was told I'm grandfathered, that I will pay what I've been paying in taxes just as I have all along. So I'm not sure if that's...
That would be an incorrect statement, because if the controls do expire, the assessor by state law is bound to assess at fair market value. So any units that have controls that have expired, he will look at October 1 of the prior year and make a determination as to fair market value at that particular date.
Now, John, having said that, if Ms. Prosser was interested in furthering the restrictions that may otherwise expire in 2020, could she so do so? I don't want to, if that's going beyond your jurisdiction in town.
She could if she wanted to voluntarily, and the unit would continue to be taxed and assessed at a lower rate.
Ms. Prosser, do you understand that?
Yes.
So that if you wanted to, if you voluntarily wanted to extend the restrictions, you own this unit, correct?
Yes.
So you own the unit. If you wanted to extend that restriction, then as long as that restriction was in place, I don't want to make a legal determination, but the tax assessor would continue to value and appraise your unit as a restricted unit rather than a market unit.
Gotcha.
And I would suggest if you are interested in that, then to speak to Sharon DeSico at Bedminster Hills Housing Corporation, right down the hall.
I'm not sure if she's still here, Sharon. I think she might have left.
No,
She's here still. Oh, good. Okay. Okay. That answers my questions.
Okay, good. Thank you for your comment. Any other comments from the public regarding the affordable housing ordinance? If not, do we have a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved?
second. Okay, all in favor?
Aye. Do we have a motion to approve ordinance 2018-010?
I'll make that motion.
Second?
Roll call vote, Mr. Stevenson?
Aye.
Mr. Hickey?
Aye.
Ms. Hucci?
Aye.
Acting Mayor Jacobs?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And Ms. Sullivan, I'll need a certified sealed copy of that in advance of Thursday's hearing.
Okay, I was going to say, you want one before you leave tonight?
Yes, please.
Okay, we can do that.
Okay, next we have the consent agenda. We have 4 items on the consent agenda. Unless anyone has anything they want to pull off the agenda, can we have a motion to proceed with the approval of those 4 items?
So moved.